Hey everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm excited about today's video because I have some really great recipes in this one. I asked my husband what meals he would like to have since he's been gone at work for an entire month, and these are the 4 that he requested. So let's go ahead and get started and I'll show you what I made. First up, we're going to make this super delicious stuffed buffalo chicken. I started by preheating my oven to 375 degrees, and then into my bowl I have about a half block of cream cheese. I'm adding in 1.5 tablespoons of ranch powder, a half teaspoon of garlic, and then about a half cup of shredded cheddar cheese. I'm going to get that mixed together and just set this aside for a moment. Now I have 2 chicken breasts, and as you can see, the side that has a little bit more of a bend to it, we're going to take our knife and just start almost at the end and start cutting through this. You don't want to go all the way through. You're just creating a pocket to put the cream cheese and cheese mixture. Once you get your initial slice, you can use your knife to try to make your pocket just a little bit deeper. The deeper you make the slice, the better off you're going to be. The stuffing will stay inside of your chicken a lot better. This recipe makes enough for 2 to 3 chicken breasts. I usually just stuff it all in the 2 since it's just me and my husband, but you could get 3 out of this if you really needed to. You're just going to divide it between your chicken breasts, and then once you get it inside, fold the top part of your chicken breast over and try to seal it in the best you can. With this mixture, since it's so thick, I do not worry about it spilling out. As long as you get it closed up pretty good, you should be fine. But if you feel like it's going to leak out, you can also stick some toothpicks in this to help keep it closed. Once I get those stuffed, I'm going to add them into a small baking dish and season them up just a little bit on the tops with some pepper and garlic powder. Next, I'm taking my buffalo sauce, just adding about a tablespoon or so to the tops of each one of these. I am just using the back of my spoon to spread that around the top. You're going to add more buffalo sauce later. You just want a little bit on top to bake in the oven to have some extra flavor on the chicken. This is what it'll look like when it comes out of the oven after about 20 to 25 minutes. It really just depends on how thick your chicken breast was to begin with. So just keep an eye on that. Just make sure they hit at least 165 degrees. Once you get them onto the plate you're going to be eating on, you can add more buffalo sauce, about a tablespoon or so, and then also drizzle some ranch over the top. And of course, I just like to add parsley to that. And then this is what your finished plate should look like. I just decided to serve this with French fries because I know my husband loves those. This chicken is so good. I absolutely love the filling. I'm a cream cheese lover anyways, but together with the ranch and buffalo sauce, this is so good. Funny enough, he requested 2 stuffed recipes, so now we're going to make these stuffed jalapeno popper burgers. Into a skillet, I'm getting started by cooking up a little bit of bacon. I'm cooking 3 thick slices of bacon. I do cut my bacon in half just so it fits better in the pan. While that's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and get 2 jalapenos prepared. These ones were pretty small. I'm going to remove the seeds and then cut these into very, very small pieces. Once my bacon was done, I did remove some of the grease. I left a small amount in here just to add flavor to my jalapenos. But I'm going to transfer these jalapenos into this skillet and let them cook for about 5 minutes. Once they start jumping out of the pan just like this, that's when I take them out. I just like to get them a little bit more tender before going into the cream cheese mixture. That way you're not eating raw jalapenos. Into this bowl, I'm adding my jalapenos with about 6 ounces of cream cheese that has been softened. I'm adding in my cooked chopped bacon along with about a half cup of shredded sharp cheddar cheese. You will also need about 2 green onions that have been chopped up and about a half teaspoon of garlic powder. Once everything is in my bowl, I'm going to get that well combined. Into another bowl, we're going to get started on our hamburger mix. So I have about 1.5 pounds of 85/15 ground beef here. I am just seasoning this up with a little bit more garlic powder, salt, pepper, onion powder, and a small amount of ranch seasoning powder. I will try to list the ingredients all down below for you as close as I possibly can. You will have all your flavor mostly coming from the inside of the burger where the stuffing will be, but you do want to make sure that you are seasoning the meat as well. Once that's well combined, I'm going to start getting my patties ready. And I have to tell you, if you're making stuffed burgers, it makes it a lot easier if you use wax paper or parchment paper underneath of your burgers to help flatten them out pretty thin. Because then you can use the paper to help you get the burger up just like this. It just makes it a lot easier to handle these. I got about 4 burgers out of this. One of mine was a little larger than the rest because it was the first one I made. That happens sometimes, but I wasn't going to take the filling back out and redo it. So here we are making another burger. Like I said, got about 4 burgers out of this. I know it's a lot of meat for not that many servings, but that's just how these types of recipes are. When you make a stuffed burger, you need a lot of burger for it. Once you have 2 thin patties, you're going to go ahead and add your filling to one side. I just add a nice big spoonful and just kind of use my hands to press it down a little bit. And you want to make sure you leave a little bit of an edge around. That way when you add this top burger on the top, you can mash it together and make sure you seal the sides really tight so that nothing comes out. And again, as you can see, this paper just made it so much easier for me to pick up and handle this instead of trying to rip it up off of the countertop or a cutting board. It just peels up so nicely. Take your time to make sure you really seal these burgers up, because if the cream cheese leaks out, that's really gonna stink. As you can see, one of my burgers was a little bigger, like I said, but that's okay. My husband took these outside and he grilled these for about 4 minutes per side on the high heat, and then let them sit on the lower heat for just a few minutes as well until they hit a safe temperature. And this is what they will look like when they're all done. We did add a slice of mild cheddar cheese on top and toasted our brioche buns on the grill as well. I just served this alongside with some mac and cheese. Next, one of my favorite dinners, as well as my husband's, is this caramelized onion cheesy brats. I've made these a few times on my channel, so you may have seen them before. You want to start by slicing up a couple onions. I only had 2 on hand, but if I would have had 3, I would have sliced up 3 whole onions. Into my skillet, I'm adding 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter with a little bit of olive oil as well. I'm going to add all of my onions in here, and we're going to let these cook on a medium heat with just a little bit of salt and pepper. You don't want to overdo it with the salt and pepper, for about 40 to 45 minutes. Once my onions are starting to get close to being done, I am going to add my beer brats into my air fryer. This is just a 5-pack. The beer brats are best for this recipe. They have the best flavor for everything. I'm going to cook these in my air fryer on 350 degrees for about 10 to 12 minutes until they reach a safe temp. The packaging should tell you what temperature they need to be, so if you're curious, you can always check the packaging. Here's what my brats looked like when they were all done, my caramelized onions, and then also you're going to need some of this Fritos jalapeno cheddar dip. It's actually going to go on top of the brats, which I think honestly is what makes this so good with these onions. This is super simple, honestly. It doesn't take that long besides the onions, but you can pretty much just let those go stirring occasionally. I just served this alongside some corn on the cob, my loaded baked potato salad, and some watermelon. Last but not least, he requested my chicken bacon pizza with the garlic dill sauce. This is one of the more popular recipes on my channel, and I've had so many people make it and send it to me on Instagram. It's a really good pizza. To get started, I'm preheating my oven to 375 degrees, and then into a nice big bowl, I'm getting my crust ready. I am just using some crust mix, but you can also make your own. That is totally fine as well. I'm sure it would be even better. I'm using 2 bags of the crust mix, that way I have a very large pizza. And to help me get this mixed together, I'm first starting with a fork, mixing that a little bit, and then I'm going to add some olive oil to my hands so that I can mix the dough up until it's in a nice big ball just like this. I'm covering this and going to let it sit in a warm room for about a half hour while I get the rest of the ingredients prepared. Into my skillet, I'm going to add about 6 slices of bacon. I'm going to cook that and then set it aside on a paper towel to cool. You will also need 1 large chicken breast or 2 smaller chicken breasts. I like to cut it in half and then season it up with a little bit of garlic powder, pepper, and salt on both sides. You don't have to do this, but I like to cook it over in the bacon grease. I do remove some of that bacon grease because I don't want it drenched necessarily. But I'm going to let this cook until it's browned on both sides and cooked all the way through. I do let the chicken rest for about 5 minutes before actually chopping it up, but you'll want to make sure you chop up this chicken into nice small pieces. I also went ahead and chopped up my bacon into smaller pieces, and I'm going to be slicing up 1 Roma tomato into nice thin pieces. And last but not least, you're going to need a little bit of red onion, but not too much. This red onion can easily overpower your pizza, so make sure you don't add too much. You're going to need maybe 1 to 2 tablespoons tops. Now for the best part, which is the sauce, you're going to need 3 tablespoons of sour cream, along with about 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise, 3 tablespoons of half and half. And for the seasonings, a half teaspoon of onion powder, a half teaspoon of dried parsley, a half teaspoon of dill, a half teaspoon of garlic powder, and about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, or just a few shakes will do. Same with the pepper, you only need a few shakes. After that, you're going to get this mixed together. It might take a minute to get it all together, but this will end up as a nice, beautiful cream sauce. Go ahead and set that aside for now. You're going to go ahead and work on your crust. So like I said, I used 2 of those bags of crust mix. I let it sit just like the directions say to, and now I'm going to get it spread out on my pizza pan. Once it's evenly spread out on my pan, I'm going to go ahead and add on my sauce. You can use all of this sauce if you want it to be really saucy, or you can leave a little behind. I did that this time and we added it on top of our pizza and it was so good that way. Once that's all spread out on your pizza, next you can start adding your cheese. You're going to want to add a 1/2 cup of shredded mozzarella and a 1/2 cup of shredded Colby Jack cheese first. Next, you'll add on your entire piece of chicken. Make sure you spread that out pretty evenly. After the chicken, you're going to add all of your bacon, all of the red onion, and then next you're going to add your Roma tomato. So my husband is not a tomato fan. He will eat like diced tomatoes, things like that I put in taco meat, but he does not like tomatoes like this. So I went ahead and just added this to half of the pizza. And then on top of all that, you're going to add another 1/2 cup of shredded mozzarella cheese and another 1/2 cup of shredded Colby Jack cheese. At this point, I stuck the pizza in the oven and it baked for about 20 to 25 minutes until the center was all the way done and the cheese was nicely melted across the entire pizza. After this pizza does come out of the oven, I'm going to top it off with some freshly grated Parmesan cheese and also some parsley. Here is the pizza when it's all done. I let it cool for a minute and then sliced it right up. Like I said, this is one of the more popular recipes that I've made on my channel. A lot of people have tried it and said it's really good. It is definitely one of my favorite pizzas, and my husband loves it as well. That's why he requested it. But this is so good, and here's a little clip of me adding the extra sauce on the top. But like I said, what a great idea that was. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a little flower down in the comments if you made it to the end of this video. Any requests you might have or suggestions, I would love to know those as well. I'll see you guys back here on Wednesday with a new video. Bye guys.